never done glass before, and so it was like definitely good to get out of like the comfort zone and the easiness of like being surrounded with your material, the people that help you, in a process that you're accustomed. So it's definitely good to like slightly move away from the routine in the studio to come here and do this.
So first we need the furnace, glass blowing furnace, where we melt all the glass, and is at 1140 to 60 degrees, 24/7. And then we get a blowing pipe, we get it hot so the glass can stick at the end of it. We gather a bit of glass and we shape it, we put the bubble in, and as the piece, the bigger the piece is, the more glass we need to make it, to inflate it, to shape it, otherwise it becomes very thin and hard to control. The best part is you start with a blob, and maybe 20 minutes if it's a little tumbler, or 2 hours if it's a big piece. It's a very good discovery and very good things to meet him. That was very fantastic to work with him.
We'll see how it looks in the end, but I think it's a good, like a solid first try. I was actually speaking to Guillaume and saying that maybe we can find a way in which I can send him like just the bronzes, so they're not like that heavy, and he can start to like do this production for me. Because something that is very like important with glass blowers is to find like a person that takes good care of the material. A lot of people like just use recycled glass, and you can tell the quality is not great. And everything that Guillaume is using like is super like high end, and like, it's like a very good material. And it's hard to come by that people nowadays, especially with glass. I think actually some of the most interesting things nowadays are when you combine the two. I think people go like they tend to go to either one of the extremes. Either they go like completely digital and make things just pure on 3D printing, which I think in the end are objects that are like quite soulless and they can be like replicated anywhere in the world. And then also on the other hand, people that just stick to like a certain craft and don't expand or don't integrate any kind of new technology. I mean, the result is like quite similar to what has been done in the past. So I think when you combine the two, it leads to like some very interesting avenues. The very first material that I worked with was ceramics, and it's actually somewhat of a family tradition. My grandfather started a ceramic factory in the 50s in Mexico, which is now like taken over by my dad. So I kind of grew up in that environment, playing with ceramic, playing with mud, getting dirty. I mean, I became very, very intrigued by the possibilities and the forms and the shapes that you could come up with in bronze, particularly, which are like much bigger possibilities compared to ceramics, and I just kind of fell into it. But I found a way to integrate it with the ceramics and now with the glass as well. I would say that I had to like very like seminal experiences in order for me to like be here. Well, first of all, is like growing up in that environment as a kid. The second would be when I graduated from high school, I spent a summer working as an intern for an amazing designer in Mexico City called Héctor Raue. At the time, I wasn't really sure if I wanted to do architecture, art history, design. So I kind of went there to his studio where they're doing a lot of everything, a lot of like curatorial work, architecture, design. And I was able to find there like sort of my niche which was design, and particularly like this low production type of design, which is more related to the art world, more so than to the design world. And then the third one would be definitely coming to SCAD, learning all these techniques and being able to apply them into my professional practice after I graduated. And even so, as a student, I was able to produce a lot of interesting projects that capture the attention of some interesting people, and I was already sort of developing a professional career even as a student. I really wanted to do something that I hadn't done before, which I think in this instance I was able to achieve that. I'm like one of these like personalities that whenever they do something, they get kind of like bored by it and they look for something else. And typically, when I start a new project, it carries like some resemblance from previous ones. But in this case, I really wanted it to be like almost like a new chapter compared to what I was doing before. And I think I was able to achieve that in this instance. I actually like to name all of the pieces sort of based on something that I was thinking at the time, something that like some memory that they evoked to me. This one is actually called the Cherry Pit. This one is Lavender Exchange. After Rain. I don't know why, like something about like the freshness of the colors, the green teal. This one is Oyster Season. Something about the shape is just like quite oystery and quite like membrane-esque. This one is the third kidney, because we all need a third one. This one is corny but good, and I don't know why it always. As soon as I saw it, it reminded me a lot of like candy corn. And that one is Borrowed Sun. With learning new mediums, I think is a lot of like observation and reading. Something that I like to do a lot is like looking at taking in references from like sculpture, painting, design, architecture, and like there are certain details and certain gestures that I can then take in for myself and apply it to like my own practice. I think it's important to develop like your own style and your own specific like language. I think it's very important to become a curator of ideas and also of opinions, because you can only listen to the advice of so many people. So I think it's important to like choose who you're gonna take advice, who's gonna become some sort of mentor or like reference for you to go back and forth between the ideas that you have. I think it's important early on. Well, I think that we live like surrounded by objects that are quite soulless and inanimate, and I see a big opportunity to create objects and pieces that have a lot of charm and character, because at the end of the day is what we surround our spaces with and what we surround ourselves with. So why have such boring things around us?